Hello, LinkedIn land. Hope you're having a fantastic day today. It's Janice Thornton and Edward Gibbons, and we are here today to talk to you about the book, Never Pay the First Bill and How to Beat the Healthcare System and Win. And we are looking at chapter 8 of this book. And now we're going to be discussing, should you actually just pay cash for a service or actually put it through to your insurance? So I'm Janice Thornton with JT Fitness and Golf. I'm an online personal trainer, and I love helping you with improving your strength, balance, flexibility, and mobility. You can do everything online at the comfort of your own home or the gym. So I make it quite easy for you, yet always hold you accountable. And I want to introduce Edward if you haven't met Edward yet. So Edward, go ahead and introduce yourself.
Hi, everyone. My name is Edward Givens. I'm a licensed health insurance agent. And when we started looking at this book, I just thought it'd be a great idea for us to communicate some of the things about our current system to help people navigate through it better. And this particular chapter, chapter 8, you might save money by not using your insurance, is one I'm sure a lot of you have either experienced or heard anecdotally. And I hope we can clear a few things up about why this is true. And how to kind of take advantage of it. There are a couple of things in here that I think he gets a little bit wrong, and we'll kind of go through that as we go through. But the overall premise is, yes, you can at times definitely save much more money for certain services if you pay for them by cash than if you go through your insurance. That's not in all cases, but on many cases, you could probably find this.
Yeah, I thought it was really interesting, some of the stories that they were talking about on how much money could have actually been saved if you just paid cash versus going through your insurance. But it really depends on also what kind of insurance plan you have, what kind of deductible you have. Is it worth it? So there's a lot of things to think through before just like flipping over to all cash for stuff.
Correct. And again, it's why some people will say, oh, I'm just going to pay for it by cash. I'm not going to buy any insurance because they don't feel like it's working for them. And I think that's a little bit short-sighted. Insurance is there to protect you against the big things, those big things that happen. And in our society, and I think in our modern day, in the last 20, 30 years, people have really started to think that health insurance should pay everything. But I want you to think about it this way. When you buy car insurance, does your car insurance pay for your gas? Does your car insurance pay for your oil change? Does your car insurance pay for your wiper blades or your tire rotations? No, they don't. Now, there are plans out there for car insurance that will pay when you need a repair. You need an AC repair, or you need something else done to your engine, or worked on your vehicle. Then it might be outside of the manufacturer's warranty. But you can look at those as kind of indemnity plans or supplemental plans for your car, and you can get those types of plans for your health insurance. But there's many things that you could probably find and pay for cheaper outside of your health insurance if you know where to look.
Well, Edward, I think you
go ahead.
I was just going to say, I think you nailed it though. In the last probably 30 years, 20, 30 years, we're so used to insurance paying for everything that people go to the doctor for every little thing. And then but you're still dumping out all this money for copays. Yet now you're thinking, oh, I'm coming for a cold, so you should be paying for everything or every little test that comes our way. Like you said, this, for your car, we just bought a new car for my husband a year ago. And yes, we bought an extra package that paid for oil changes and, getting the car checked out, but it was an extra charge. And I think that's where people, like you said, people just think, oh, everything should be paid for, when in essence, that's us creating that scenario in our heads versus what the insurance companies ever really fully intended for it to be.
Correct. He opens up the chapter and brings up your health insurance promises to save you big money by using their influence in the marketplace to get you the best possible prices on medical care. Okay? I think that's a bit of a false assumption because health insurance companies work in a bubble. What state are you in? What are those state laws? What suppliers are allowed in those states? And what options are allowed in those states? I will give you an example of non-Affordable Care Act or private plans. Some states don't allow you to have them. They're called short-term plans. There are states that don't allow them whatsoever in the state at all. Then there are states that say you can have a short-term plan, but you cannot have it for more than 3 months.
Mm.
And then there's other states that say you can have a short-term plan, you can have it for 3 years if you wish. So do you think if you got that same short-term plan in a state that's 3 months, it's going to be the same price as in a state that allow you to have it for 3 years?
No, absolutely
No.
not.
Exactly. So it's going to depend on the plan you get, the type of plan you have, and some of those rules that sit around it. So think of it kind of like Costco or Sam's Club. You might not necessarily get the best price on a tube of toothpaste at either of those stores. If that's all you need, you might be able to get a single tube of toothpaste cheaper at Walmart or your grocery store or a CVS or Walgreens. But if you want it in bulk, the price is averaged over a larger group of people. It's cheaper when you buy it in bulk.
Right.
And so that's what people have to kind of look at when they're looking at this example. And I thought this was a good example about Dr. Zubin Damani, who goes by the nickname Z-Dog MD.
I've never heard of him.
I've never heard of him either, but he is an influencer, and I'm going to look it up just because that's an interesting name to me. But he had a high deductible plan in 2020, and was a $6,000 out-of-pocket limit. And so when they describe this, I'm assuming he has an HSA style plan, which means is if he pays that first $6,000, after that, then the plan's going to pay everything. But he's going to pay whatever the plan is negotiated for rates up until that point. So he had to take a family member for an MRI, and the customer service rep told him that MRI was going to cost $1,600. So he did what any savvy person would do and asked, what's the cash price?
Mm-hmm.
And they told him he's going to get a 30% discount. So he'd save about $480 if he did the cash price. But he remembered that he does have a high deductible plan. And so if he took the cash price, that payment would not be applied to his deductible, to his out-of-pocket limit, which is the case for all plans.
Mm-hmm.
But he wanted to make sure that he could apply it to his deductible or his out-of-pocket limit. That way he'd get the benefit, and perhaps later in the year, have the plan paying everything for those costs. When he got his final bill, he was hoping that there would be a discount on that $1,600, and there was not. He did not get a discount. It was $1,600. Now, one of the questions I had in this particular case is, he gave the provider his insurance information, and $1,600 was the negotiated rate.
Mm-hmm.
The cash rate would have been cheaper if he would have paid cash, but I also don't know what would the rate have been if he didn't have any insurance. He might have been billed higher.
That would have been an interesting question to find out.
But anyway, that $1,600 will still go toward his deductible or his out-of-pocket limit, and will help reduce that if something catastrophic happens down the road. Mm-hmm. But that's where people get frustrated. They're like, okay, I got an MRI done, or I got a simple blood test done. Why is it so expensive? Oftentimes you can go directly to a provider, to the test site, and get that done cheaper. I would say if you don't tend to go to the doctor very often, maybe once or twice a year, go for that cash price. But if you're someone who tends to go on a routine basis and you have some chronic issues, that might not be the best option for you, because now you're not getting the benefit of reducing that deductible or out-of-pocket limit. in case something catastrophic happens.
They had an interesting price that they did. See if I can find it fast. That they were talking about the blood work, like what you were just talking about. If they had gone in, they looked at, it was just to do 2 common blood tests, to do complete blood count with a CPT code of 85025, and then the basic metabolic panel 80048. So we get those. If you go to the doctor, you're going to get those 2 blood tests done all the time. And they checked, and with the insurance, it was going to be $64, but cash would have been $19.20. And then the basic metabolic panel was $73 with insurance. But if they did cash, it was $21.90. So if you have this, again, like what you just said, Edward, about if you don't go to the doctor that often, it might save you a ton of money to just be able to go pay cash for all of this stuff, or at least call and ask to see what the cash price is and try different labs. It doesn't matter, especially if you're paying cash. It doesn't matter which lab you go to. If your doctor is in network or out of network, you are paying cash, and all you have to do is have those results sent back to your doctor. It won't matter.
Correct. And that's where people need to be a little bit more savvy in how they work through the system to get what they need taken care of. Those are some great examples there.
There was some also on the medical supplies too, like the guy gave a CPAP description. I know a lot of people are on CPAP, where you could actually get lower costs by not going through your insurance, because insurance likes to mess up jack up those prices on you and make you pay more than what you could really get just if you kind of did a little more research on your own to actually get what you need for your CPAP.
Correct. And this is that area where people tend to forget. Your providers are your providers. They're there to help you. They got started because they want to help you, but they are working in a business. And so the business side is trying to generate the revenue that it's trying to hit. I think I've told our audience before, we've both worked in pharmaceuticals, and I've also worked in medical device. And I have sat in on some of the discussions where I was sitting there representing my company's line of products, and another division of the company was sitting next to me. We had at least 9 different people, all from the same company, but different divisions, in this meeting, negotiating out who's going to have a discount, who's going to have a price increase, to get the total package for the hospital system into a number that worked for them. So my division might have had to take an increase in one product line, while another division took a huge decrease and may have been selling, as an example, a product for $100 to the hospital, and then they had to cut it 50% and now only take $50 for it. Because the business side is trying to work out what it's trying to do. So we have to remember that it is a business. And if there are areas that make sense for you, ask the question, is there a cash discount? And if you can pay cash and it works for you, pay cash.
Absolutely. I will say this chapter definitely opened up my eyes on just making sure you do ask if you can pay cash, or what is the cash price, or if you don't have insurance, what do you charge those people, to see if there is a difference. Because where was it in the chapter? They talked about, it was a blood work that they gave a 70% discount to the people who didn't have insurance or were going to pay cash. 70% discount. So ask, because obviously they're still making money on 70% off. They're not going to give it 70% off and not make money.
Correct. And I also think sometimes people forget, these hospital systems are there to make money, but they also cannot, in the United States, if someone comes into the ER, they cannot turn them away and not give them care. So they will be taking care of people who have no insurance,
right,
due to an emergency, due to some issue. They will be taking care of people who run into hard times and can't pay for things. So we all know they buffer things, and I'm not saying that they're completely legitimate in some of the pricing structures, but there are buffers in there for people who can pay and for people who cannot pay, so that they can support those efforts as well. But we can always negotiate and ask those questions. One of the other highlighted areas here that I want to make sure people are aware of is, your prescription drugs. You may have a plan, an Affordable Care Act plans in the state of Arizona. There are a couple of plans that have some really decent generic pricing. One's around $3 for your generic drugs, and others can be like $1 or so, depending upon what that medication is and the way that plan's structured. But for a lot of them, you're going to see like a $25 or $20 copay for your generic drugs. And we talked about this earlier. You can go to things like GoodRx. You've talked about, you have a discount plan. I have access to other discount plans that are going to be much cheaper than that.
Yes.
And even Fry's here locally has a very good plan that's only like around $4 to $12 a month. And you get $1, $2 generic drugs out off of that option. So you just have to be savvy to look at, where can I get a discount? And ask certain
Absolutely.
questions.
And be okay with, it's okay to get a discount, because these people are making money hand over fist. So it's okay to be asking for discounts.
Well, exactly. My mother actually even brought this up the other day. We were having a conversation, with the rising gas prices at this point in time. My question to the audience is, how many of you have driven by 1 or 2 or 3, maybe 4 gas stations to find one with a lower price right now? Okay, why not do it for your healthcare? Why not take the time to drive down to the lab to get your test done, rather than just have it done in the doctor's office? Because it's going to save you money.
Yeah, I think people, unfortunately, we get a little lazy, or we don't know what we don't know. So hopefully we're letting people know you can do some research and get some lower prices, and keep the money in your pocket instead of somebody else's.
Another thing that I thought was brought up in here too, they made a quick mention of it, but there are over 200 different insurance plans for people under the age of 65 in Arizona. Okay? And we're not even talking about group plans. I'm just talking individual plans that people can get. So there are different networks for each of those as well. When people are looking on the marketplace at different plans, a bronze level plan may have a completely different network than a gold level plan. And so you can imagine a gold level plan probably has a much broader network. But what the companies are trying to do is manage their costs by negotiating with groups of people who are going to take care of the big issues. Somebody needs a major surgery, somebody gets diagnosed with cancer, somebody has diabetes and is uncontrolled. They're trying to take care of those big issues in a way that they can control the cost of something unexpected happening. And if you understand that, it doesn't mean we have to agree with the pricing, but it means we can understand how to negotiate our way through the pricing of what's going to happen.
Right.
They also brought up, think of the large networks in your area. Those large networks, because of their name, because of their size, even the marquee facilities, they have better cost structures with insurers because they have the name and people want to go to that facility, or because they have a monopoly or a lion's share of the market. Let's not say a monopoly, but a lion's share of the market, that they can negotiate higher reimbursement rates for themselves from the insurance company, which may mean you're going to pay more. And before in this book, they've also brought up, check the different facilities. You might go to facility A and the MRI is $1,600. You go to facility B and the MRI is $1,000. Well, I'm going to go to facility B, even if that means I have to drive a little bit.
Yeah, because you're not going to use $600 worth of gas even today to get to
Yes.
facility B.
Correct. And I may be looking at, I have a different kind of view on this because I grew up in a military family. The hospital I was born in and the hospital that I went to for anything and everything was over 35 minutes away. And my mother spent many a night into the morning with me and my brother going to the ER because of an issue we had. And this was the days before urgent care, any of you younger folks out there. But she spent that time driving that 35 minutes, sitting there, hour, 2, 3 hours, drive another 35 minutes back home. So I'm kind of used to, if I need it, I'm willing to go there to get it. If I don't need it, I'm willing to figure out what's a cheaper way to get this done.
Well, that's good. So hopefully everyone, I will put the link that I have for the less expensive prescriptions in the comments section, so you guys can check it out. And yeah, hopefully this chapter we've been able to really let people know to see what all your options are, because you have a ton of options in the healthcare world. I feel like our insurance companies make us think we don't have as many options as we actually do. And paying cash can be a really good deal for yourself, regardless of what kind of insurance plan you have.
Correct. And reaching out to someone like me, a licensed health insurance agent who's going to educate you, help you understand the process, or to a patient advocate group is going to help you better navigate the system. So you don't get stuck with a bill that's too high or charged for something that you shouldn't be charged for. Again, it's a business and it's run by people who make mistakes. We need to check on that.
Yeah.
And we need to check on it for our family members.
Absolutely. Is there anything else you want to add to this one?
No, I do recommend, just like we're talking about, get this book and read through it, folks. You will be amazed at some of the information that you're like, wow, if I just knew that, I could have navigated something differently. Or now that I know that, if or when something happens, I know how to navigate through it.
Yes, absolutely. Well, Edward, I think we've nailed this chapter. And we look forward to next week to bringing you chapter 9, because now we get into the employer section is the next set of chapters.
Yes.
So look forward to next time. So everyone have a fantastic day. If you have any questions, please feel free to reach out to us. We are here to help you. See you, everyone.
Have a great day, everybody.